Thank you, and welcome to the second and final ordinary council meeting for the year. Today on Wednesday the 10th of December from the Mangawhai rooms. We don't have any apologies, but we have Councillor Nathan joining online. Do you hear us okay, Councillor Nathan? She might still be having trouble joining. Okay, she may be joining late.
I just wonder.
I wanted to check.
I wonder if you want to move the motion to Councillor Nathan as an apology or for attending late.
Yeah, okay.
So that's covered, but she has.
Okay, so
yes,
she's back in.
Can you hear us, Councillor Nathan?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, welcome, Councillor Nathan. We are moving to the confirmation of the agenda. I'm happy to move that. Can I have a seconder, please? Yeah. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Motion carried. Okay, we now move to the conflict of interest declaration. I'm declaring on item 4.2. Does anyone have any other conflicts of interest to declare? No. Okay, so next we move to the public forum, and a big welcome to everyone that's joined us in the public forum. Thank you for coming and engaging with our democratic processes. First up, we have Kristeen Prangley and Bievre from the Tinopai Community Group, who are going to be presenting on Tinopai community feedback on the Tinopai Wharf project and on possible partnership opportunities with KDC. So we will have up to 5 minutes for the presentation, Mr. Chief Executive, and then questions. Yes. For up to 5 minutes from elected members. So thank you, Kristeen and Louis, if you'd like to come up to the front here and make your presentation.
Councillors, and thank you for having us. My name is Louis Bievre, and especially thank you to four the councillors who came and had a look themselves on Saturday at the state of the wharf. I'd like to start by just discussing one of the reasons why the wharf is so important to us. We live at the bottom of a peninsula, as you all know, and we have a one-way in, one-way out road. And from an infrastructure resilience perspective, I think even during Cyclone Gabriel not long ago, you all know how isolated our community can be in a situation like that. So having a functional wharf there would very much help the resilience of the community. Another issue, another topic of resilience that has been discussed in this chamber is the opinion of the Coast Guard. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Coast Guard shirt. I'm one of the wet crew of the North Piper Coast Guard and have been asked by Peter Flood, the president, to speak on behalf of the Coast Guard with an updated opinion. So Tinopai is situated in the center of Great Kaipara Harbour. When situations arise, when serious medical care is critically needed for injured or hypothermic boating persons rescued by the North Piper Coast Guard, a functioning wharf at Tinopai would be the fastest and safest way to get them to a waiting ambulance or helicopter. And Peter stressed to me that these situations have happened during his tenure as president and a bit more recent. So medical care can then be administered much, much earlier than would have been the case without that. The Coast Guard is also of the opinion that some maintenance on the current breakwater would be helpful, since it protects the boat ramp next to the breakwater from the bad northeasterly winds. It just makes egress and launching the boat much safer for us. But, and I stress the but, It is far more important for the Coast Guard to have a fully functional wharf that allows boats to dock safely in all times. This will allow the taking on or evacuation of passengers in a safe and efficient manner, which is our main reason for the Coast Guard's being, to rescue people from the water. Thank you. I will pass on to Kristeen.
Alrighty, so Louis has touched on the resilient side of having the Tinopai wharf. The next key point is food equity. As you'll see on the slide, Tinopai is a small isolated community with a median income 55% less than the rest of New Zealand. People need to be able to fish off the wharf to feed their families. And I think to people who have come out and spent time in Tinopai, it's very clear it is an extremely popular wharf. We have people fishing off there day and night all year round. The other important thing to mention is the heritage and cultural value. So the wharf's been there since 1917 and been serving the community and providing identity. It is the core of Tinopai. It is where people go to spend time fishing with their families, but it's also, if you see anything to do with Tinopai posters, shirts, it's always about the wharf. It's a really integral part to every family that lives there. There's also an economic opportunity. We've sort of been thinking about the Kaipara coastal connections, bringing tourism into the region with a unique harbour experience for cyclists and other visitors. We have one food trailer down there that doesn't operate year round, but we do have heaps of cyclists that come down during the summer season, and it's a beautiful place for them to come and cycle. We had a community meeting with people from the Kaipara District Council, and we really appreciated them coming out and seeing us. Since then, we have formed a Tinopai advocacy group. We have a few of our members here today. We've created a business development plan for the wharf. We've been organising the local community to help with breakwater materials, equipment, labour if needed. We have also in the process of forming a Tinopai Community Trust to help with funding applications and to support local artisanship and resources around storytelling. Po from the old wharf files, etc., are all ideas of that group. We're also in the process and very successfully forming partnerships with local marae and other organisations for support. What our community, the Tinopai community, are asking of KDC. We're asking that the wharf be replaced with a new compliant wharf which allows boats to safely dock long enough to unload people and products. We're allowing people to fish off the wharf to the end of the reef, that the existing breakwater to the northeast is maintained to its original standard, that the road and parking area around the wharf is upgraded, and that we work in partnership with you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for coming to see us. Now, do any elected members have questions that you'd like to ask of the presenters? Yes, Councillor Szymanski.
Community asked KDC, you're asking that the actual wharf itself be replaced as back to wharf. We use open to the option of breakwater and a piece out to the for the boats to dock on as opposed to the wharf, or is that off the table as far as you guys are concerned?
I think no, it's definitely not off the table, Councillor Szymanski. It's for us the most practical solution. That's what we're going to pursue, and we will be doing a bit of work and with hopefully with some help from KDC, from maybe one of your engineers, to look at what is the best cost efficient that serves the purpose solution there. And you and I discussed the breakwater possibility and then building that out to the current length. It's definitely an option. And if that is a more cost efficient long-term solution, that's definitely on the table as an option.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks.
The next presenter is Mark Vincent. Welcome, Mark. seen this guy somewhere before.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mark. I'm sure you know the drill, but you've got 5 minutes to speak and then 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your welcome. And nice to see everybody. I suppose you're wondering why I asked you all here. I did circulate in advance some prepared statement, or at least Alana was going to. I'd prefer just to speak to it because the situation is quite fluid at present, and my thinking is similar. And some of the things I've written, while it may not be incorrect, they are matters of opinion, but for me it comes down to two key areas, which are, it's clarified now that it finally has been confirmed that the government's intention regarding the RMA reforms includes that there be 17 plans for the country. And I'd say it's pretty likely that one of those 17 will be Northland. And that just, I guess, makes it clearer, even though the government hasn't made it explicit, it makes it clearer that we are headed for amalgamation in the Kaipara district, that and so I've focus of my interest now is to see if we can come up, or actually firstly I'd say I really hope that Kaipara District Council is going to be lodging a submission in response to this simplifying local government draft proposal, and I hope that what I have to say might be a trigger to some thoughts on how you might go about that. But I'm not saying I have the answers, but if it forms questions in your minds, well, that would be a positive thing. So I do think it's, whether you want to call it half-assed or half-baked, the idea of having the 3 mayors, who I would be pretty sure already have a full-time job, but then take on a job of running an organisation that they know have very limited knowledge of, in addition to actually working out what the future design should be for local government in the area. So, and while the people who might have some knowledge in regard to it have been excluded, i.e. the regional councillors. So that to me is a bit of a dog. And if you could come up with something, rather than just criticise it for what it is, come up with a preferable alternative which is viable, well, that would be a useful thing for the process. And the other aspect I want to focus on is at the end of my written submission about my suggested solution. So diving over top of the whole business of identifying function first and then sorting out what the form should be, that I put forward the suggestion that we have a Northland District Council with local boards aligned on the regional council ward boundaries, and with the characteristics of those local boards being that they have a designated mandate for where they can make decisions on issues, local issues for local people, and also a designated budget and a formula for calculating the budget so that we don't have wars between wards. The regional district councillors would be members of those boards, though not chair them, so that there's a direct channel there from local to the regional body. I think I've said in my statement that have been circulated that there are lessons perhaps that can be learnt from the Auckland experience, and there are other unitary councils around the country that have their different approaches as well, all of which could be mined for to learn a preferred option from. But that is my suggestion as to how that could work. It's, yeah, just reiterate, because I want to use the line again about if we don't recognise that the district councils are up for change out of the government's actions, we'll just try and clap with one hand, that's all, because the one necessarily affects the other. I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vincent. Does anyone have any questions?
And you can call me Mark.
Mr. Mark Vincent? Councillor Szymanski?
Saying that replace the Northland Regional, I mean, let's face it, that's what the government want to do is replace the Northland Regional Council, which is, okay, we're not going to get much say in that, and it's going to be a long sort of process, but stating that you sort of want to replace it with the Northland District Council, isn't that just replacing it like for like?
Absolutely not.
I understand that, we need local people from local areas, be it the mayor's sort of having their view for their districts, to put their public forum across. And I don't agree with the populist side of things with that the government doing, because, yeah, the Auckland will start dictating to Northland, in that sense. But, putting it all on the mayor is I know, I realise is actually throwing it out there as well. Having a little governing group or something to help steer the mayor's thoughts probably is a good way to go. But,
What's the question, councillor Szymanski?
well, I'm just saying, aren't you just creating another group, which is basically Northland Regional Council, a small group, dictating to the mayor?
That's not how I see it. I mean, you're entitled to your view of it. However, I think a key difference is in the ward boundaries of the regional council. And I should point out, as far as Kaipara goes, I think it helps to solve a problem of division that we have, where the Kaipara ward includes basically, roughly speaking, all of the Kaipara district up to, say, Highway 1, and then the Mangawhai Kaiwaka area. I'm not sure if Kaiwaka might still be part of Kaipara, but this then becomes part of the Coastal South ward, and that represents to me a better alignment with communities of interest. And so that is one selling point for it. But as far as you're concerned, I do think that if there was someone, so if this was the Coastal South Ward Board meeting, and one of you people is the councillor for the, well, that's a direct line of communication to the regional body, whereas at present it sits outside and doesn't actually, correlate.
So I suppose in the different mayors from the different areas throughout the regional,
That's just as a transitional thing. So I don't see that as a permanent solution, unless, Jonathan, you're looking for another job as well, or?
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Any other questions? Thank you. Good. So we will now move to the confirmation of the open minutes from the 26th of November 2025 meeting. Do I have a mover for that? Having moved those, Councillor Canton and a seconder, Councillor Pani. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Okay, well, put it to the vote. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carried. So we are now moving to our first decision item, which is item 4.1, Dargaville Town Hall, decision on next steps. We have a motion to display, which is different from the staff recommendation. Could you put that up onto the screen for us, please? So we have there that Kaipara District Council notes the Wairoa Ward status update condition assessment outcome report presented at the 3 December 2025 council briefing. B, approves option 2, demolish the annex and Wairoa Hall and proceed with works outlined in the consented plans for the municipal chambers reinstatement. C, requests the chief executive progress next steps regarding the Dargaville complex in the 2027-37 long-term plan. Do we have a mover? Councillor Lambeth, and a seconder, please. Councillor Tane, thank you. Reporting on this item, Brian Hagan, who is the Manager Project Delivery, and Samantha McEwen, who is the Project Business Delivery. Thank you, Brian and Samantha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. We'll just touch on it quickly. Through the chair, we would support that motion to action a demolition. Just some key information to highlight and just a little bit of an update on some information just received this morning. So obviously we continue not to comply with the notice, the insanitary notice. So the TAR, the Territorial Authority, are compelled to act. So a demolition will help us remove that insanitary notice and comply. The condition and the occupancy of the municipal chambers is at risk currently due to its connection to the deteriorating annex. New information that we've had as a result of doing an air quality testing in the municipal chambers for the cinema just shows us that that mould from the annex is starting to infiltrate into the municipal chambers building. And really we don't want that happening. It's high levels, obviously, in the annex, it's visual, it's in the air, moving into that municipal chambers, it's starting to get into the air. If that gets into the materials, the carpets, the fabric of the building, it's not a good outcome. So yeah, removing the annex would be good for that. Upon a planned amendment, we can action the demolition and of the buildings, but the municipal chambers funding application that we have in, we don't put that at risk by continuing with the consented plans. And as discussed in the paper, we can explore other funding streams for a new town hall or event centre for the space. So yeah, we're happy to take questions on the report.
Okay, any questions from elected members? Oh, you've got off very lightly this morning.
Done job, a good job.
Okay, well, thank you very much. You can stand down.
Thank you.
Hey, as the Councillor Lambeth.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh dear. The reports we have clearly state water egress and degradation have been ongoing since 2017. We've handled this problem and it's up to us to be the ones to provide the people of Dargaville with a solution. In a way, the flaws of the plan that were presented to the council last year, which would have funded the recladding of the War Memorial Hall, not proceeding those may have been a stroke of luck. We'd voted to approve those plans and then we'd discover pre-existing rot. We would have had a nightmare, not only financial, but also the reconstruction of it. And that would be happening now. The reports know outline the extent of rot which was allowed to set in, and we can confidently operate from a clean slate if we do demolish it. There can be no nasty surprises when we have compelled to build from the ground up. So we have been given this problem but we've also been given the chance to create a lasting practical solution. It can be functional and elegant. It's our duty to ensure that we can give Dargaville a town hall that fits the community needs with prudent use of ratepayers' money. The clear way forward is a design and build approach, which we can see has worked well for minimal outlay in other parts of our district. Let's not reinvent the wheel on the ratepayers' dollar. Let's us instead use experienced professionals who can deliver a design with utility and longevity at a fair price, and we can get it done within the triennium, if not before. In 2017, a pattern was set which effectively condemned the annex and the War Memorial Hall through a lack of maintenance and repairs. We have voted a mandate to break that cycle. We must and will be the administration that delivers a new town hall for the people of Dargaville. So I ask everyone at this table to share with that commitment. We must all agree that we can get this done in a reasonable time frame with a practical design for the price of not burdening our tax ratepayers. The reports that have just been highlighted that it has spread to the third part or could possibly spread to the third part. We're in a battle here and we've got to act quickly to stop that happening.
Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Councillor Pani.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Lambert. It's our responsibility to deliver the safest and most responsible and cost-effective path forward. And due to the deterioration that's now in the annex and potentially in the town hall, it's important that we look at a way forward. And as the Deputy Mayor Lambert has put, we've had the information provided to council and that there is a risk of further issues happening with a heritage listed building, which is the municipal chambers. And it's our job to protect the chambers. And it's key for us to consider what does the future prospect of a Dargaville hub look like, where the town hall and that is, and for all of the community. But it's important that we look at taking action now around the buildings that have deteriorated, being the annex, and potentially look at what's happened with the town hall itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pani. Do any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Nathan, then Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Your Worship. Hopefully you can hear me okay. My apologies for not being present. I would like to tautoko Deputy Mayor Lambert and Councillor Tane on your kōrero this morning. I also would like to support a design and build approach, and obviously a sense of urgency around getting things rectified as soon as possible so that we can obviously keep that Wairua Hall intact. So that would be my 5 cents that I'd like to add. So I'd like to tautoko what both councillors have suggested. Kia ora, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nathan. Councillor Williams.
Worship. This has been quite a journey for our council, and now it's moving into the new council, this triennium. This is really important for the Dargaville community, and I think today we're going to be moving forward. I totally concur with what's been said by the councillors that have spoken so far, so I support this decision.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Okay, thank you. Well, I think this is a really big turning point for the new council. It's not an easy decision to make, and not everything is certain ahead of us, but it's time to get the situation fixed now. We've seen from the condition report which much of was relatively new news to us, that there are deficiencies in the town hall, and we could end up spending as much trying to patch up what we've got rather than starting afresh. And I concur with the position taken by Deputy Mayor Lambeth that let's do it once and do it right and get a good outcome. We've seen wonderful models, as have been alluded to, and we hold some of our council meetings now in the Tangata Community Complex. Outstanding delivery of a facility for a relatively small area there, hugely well utilised and built on time and on budget, very, very economically. So I think if we can get our procurement right in the future, however that model gets put together, that is critical. And as has also been alluded to, we need to stop the deterioration progressing and affecting a municipal building as well, and the cinema. And so we do need to act and get on with it now and make a decision. I want to thank our new team of elected members for very quickly getting their heads around these issues and for showing courage and leadership in making a decision here today. And I think the most important thing for us to do, as is included in the motion before us, is to make sure that we take all of the community forward with us as we help to put in place the next steps, because ultimately this is a building for the community and it needs to be fit for purpose, and we need to get it right. So thank you very much, everybody, and back to you, Councillor Lambeth.
Yes, look, there's nothing much further to add, but I do want to emphasise the point of doing rebuilds, fixing up existing, and the labour content that is involved. Labour content is the killer in this, and a green site provides an opportunity to get a fixed price contract, whereas any renovation doesn't. We're not renovating the back shed of our house at home where the labour content is not an issue. So a new green build, that's where the savings are made. But thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Lambeth. Can we just have the motion back up on the screen, please? Okay, so that's what we are voting on today. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you. I'm going to hand the chair now to Councillor Lambert.
Thank you, everyone. We'll move on to item 4.2, appointment of commissioners for the Kaipara proposed district plan hearings. And presenting, first of all, we'll have a mover, thanks for that. Councillor Szymanski, seconder. Councillor Williams, thank you. And presenting on this, we have Catherine Overwater, Manager of Policy and Planning, and Michael Day, General Manager of Planning and Development. Thank you.
Good morning.
Thanks, Chair. I'll start things off and then pass to Catherine and we'll go from there, So team, the hearings for the proposed district plan are underway, as you know. The council have engaged Commissioner Mark Vincent to be the chair of the proposed district plan hearings. He's already held one chair alone hearing, and there is another hearing due next week. The purpose of this report is to appoint the remaining panel of commissioners for the proposed district plan hearings. There's a whole raft of recommendations, hopefully on the screen and in your papers. What you have seen in the recommendations is that we are seeking to engage a further 4 external hearings commissioners, as well as 2 internal commissioners. Due to the sort of nature and complexities of proposed district plan hearings, it's imperative that we engage commissioners who are highly experienced, highly technical, and have a really good understanding of proposed district plan processes. The commissioners that we have recommended tick all those boxes, and the staff team thoroughly believe that we will all be in good hands with the panel that we are recommending and endorsing to you today. Catherine, do you have things to add?
I might just add, so you might recall from the previous paper we brought to you on the private plan change appointment. So this is a little bit different. So obviously you've got the commissioner policy attached, and normally we would appoint by alphabetical order. That's normally what we do to enable fairness across the appointments. But with this, because we're looking for people with specific experience, skill sets and technical knowledge to man the sometimes complex hearings with the district plan, we invited all commissioners on our current list to let us know if they were interested, and then from there obviously looked at who was more available, who also were probably more capable and more technically experienced. So the people that we've recommended in the paper today are certainly people that have a very lengthy and not a lot of knowledge in district plan reviews specifically, which is what we're looking for. A lot of commissioners have done plan changes or private plan changes, but this is something quite big. So yeah, just to explain that there is a point of difference in the way that we're appointing from what you guys have previously been part of, and the policy does allow us to deviate from it, but obviously we have to justify to you why we're doing that. So that's our reasoning.
Right, does anybody have any questions? No, you've been let off the hook as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I go to the mover's statement. Councillor Smansky.
I think this is a huge undertaking and needs to be done properly. So I agree with appointing people who are fit for purpose to do the job and provide us with enough information and moving forward.
Thank you. Councillor Williams, second it.
Deputy Chair. Yeah, look, I agree. We need a broad range of skill sets and people experienced to work towards our district plan and to be involved in the hearings and everything that goes with it. So it's a huge body of work, and I fully support the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Anyone else wish to make any comment? No, back to the mover. Anything further to say, Councillor Metzi?
Nothing good to say, thanks.
Right, we'll put this matter to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. We'll move on to 4.3 and we'll get the mayor back in. Thank you. Let's see if you follow what we're doing. So we'll probably, and you can say, we'll do it.
Okay, moving to item 4.3, proposal for the installation of a monitored gate at Lake Taharoa, and we have a proposed motion that is different to the staff recommendation.
And yes, I've voiced it with, but we get to take out the word not in the clause D. I got that right?
Okay, so you can see that motion there from Councillor Lambert on the screen. He has moved. Do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Tane, thank you. Seconding.
Does Part E still work with that?
This is a very broad, it's a very broad clause, which can mean a number of things. So you're happy with the motion there, Councillor Lambert?
Councillor.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion on the table. And speaking to this item is Glynis McCarthy, Manager Community Services. Thank you, Glynis.
Good morning. Through your worship, perhaps I can provide just a small amount more context in relation to the motion that you've put forward. I had a team go up this morning to see if we had good cell phone coverage from the Taharoa, Lake Taharoa boat ramp. We get 3 bars on Spark and we get patchy service on other providers. That would probably be the main area that people will use and access a QR code if they're coming as day visitors and they haven't seen prior information that's been sent out to, say, campers or to regular visitors. Another thing just to be aware of is that NRC and iwi and hapu will be at the lakes fulfilling the education program during the summer break. But outside of that, obviously, the operation and the ongoing maintenance will fall to KDC. So that will be through, if there are issues with the gate and its operation, the most likely people that will be dealing that will be our domain, Taharoa domain team. And at this stage, I have an indicated cost of annual maintenance for the gate between $400 and $600 a year, but I don't know what costs would be incurred if there was vandalism to the gate or, you know, ongoing malfunctions to the gate. So there could be, in fact, some other ongoing operational costs that we haven't yet determined. I think everything else was covered in my report, and I take it if there's any questions that I can perhaps provide some answers to those.
Okay, thank you very much. Glynis, just firstly, you've alluded to costs falling to the Lifeguard District Council. Could you explain how you've drawn that conclusion from the motion for us at the moment?
If NRC, if you are going ahead with installing the gate, then the cost of installing the gate falls to NRC. They put that forward at last week's briefing paper. And in that paper, also they alluded that they would like the ongoing monitoring and maintenance of that gate once it's installed outside of that summer peak to fall to KDC staff.
Thank you. So I understand that they have indicated a desire for KDC to fund that. What I'm asking you is, where does it say that in the motion that we have before us?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't link it to your motion. I was simply...
That's what we're voting on.
Through your worship, so for the recommendation that staff put forward was to not invoke your powers. You're changing that to invoke your powers and allow that the gate be built.
Yes.
The NRC in the report to do that, now under that option, the NRC have committed to building that. And in the report, it talks to the fact that the operational maintenance costs fall to us with that option. So there's nothing in the recommendation that says it doesn't occur.
There's nothing there's nothing in the motion before us that says that KDC is committing itself to anything specified in a report from NRC. Is there?
So in the report, if we don't install the gate, so if we do install a gate, we talk to the need for maintenance costs that fall on KDC. So it is in the report.
But not in the motion, which is our decision-making mechanism.
but it's in the report.
So are you telling us that you believe that if something is in a report and we make a decision, that we're bound by the content of that report without that report actually being specified as being complied with in here? Because all we're doing is noting it.
Yeah, through your worship. So what I'm trying to do is get some clarity there, because with the option for the NRC to install a gate, under that option, the NRC talked to you at the briefing last week to say that maintenance costs fall on KDC. Currently, it's not clear what you want in that space. We're going to need some guidance to go back to the NRC if that is not the case.
Well,
and this is what they presented to you.
Yes, I agree they presented to us. However, we did not agree to it, and we're now about to make a decision that doesn't include that component. If it did need, if it was intended to include that component, that would need to be explicit in the decision of the council via the motion that's been put forward, and it isn't. So in its absence, there is no commitment to be funding maintenance or operation.
Thank you. That provides that clarity.
Do you want that set out in the motion, which could be agreed by the mover and the seconder to include that provision, or because it isn't explicit, but it's not implicit that it is being funded either?
So for us to go back to the NRC, it would be helpful.
Okay.
If we could do that.
Okay. So with the agreement of the mover and the seconder, an additional clause could be added to the motion that we have before us. And that could say something like at G, notes that any costs associated with the installation, operation, and maintenance of the gate are the responsibility of Northland Regional Council. So we'll get that suggestion up onto the screen for the mover and the seconder to consider and amend if they think it needs to be different wording. Do you have any comment on that, Mr. Maris? Is that reasonable, or do you want to word it in a different way so that we're not putting words into the mouths of the regional council?
Thank you, Your Worship. It just provides that clarity, so then we can now go back to the NRC and advise them of that. So I appreciate that.
So the mover and seconder are Councillors Lord and Councillor Tane. Are you happy to agree to that change?
I am.
Have a new motion before us here then. Do you want to make any comment on that change, Dennis, at all?
No, I think that's a really good compromise. Very good compromise.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can stand down. All right. Councillor Lambeth.
Yes, Glennis used the word compromise. We're taking the risk of advice that that we should not be putting it in. So we're taking the risk there, and the cost going on to the regional council is to ensure that it is installed properly and not a Heath Robinson job done in the first place, because it is very easy to put something in which will break in the future. So this matter is a regional council matter, bearing in mind that our ratepayers pay a considerable amount to the regional council to look after these problems which we're stopping. No, I'm happy as it stands. Thanks.
Councillor Pan.
Installing a monitored gate at Lake Taharoa boat ramp is a practical and necessary step to reduce the real risk of the biosecurity aspects around the freshwater gold clam. With the new detections being found outside of the Waikato, it's important that we have to sort of be seen to be supporting any mitigation or any management steps towards restricting the gold clam's entry into the Kauri Lake system. And I think a monitored gate linked to the washdown or hygiene processes that are currently being undertaken is a good step in the management process of restricting the risks being coming into Lake Taharoa. And I think it strengthens the opportunity had with the education program that's been run at the same time. So I think this approach strengthens, I think, the protections that have been put in place currently to manage the risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tani. Any other elected members wish to speak to this item? Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I support putting in this gate. I think it's another level of protection. And yeah, I think it's been needed for a while actually, so I'm happy to support this.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Canton.
Your Worship. I support the installation of the monitor gate at the lake. Reading through the documentation, I think it's probably the best that we can do as a council. I agree with Councillor Lambert that the cost should fall to the Northern Regional Council. They do take a lot of rates out of here. So reading just how invasive this pest is, I believe that the Northern Regional Council will have to take further steps at some point in the future that are beyond us.
Thank you, Councillor Canton. Councillor Nathan.
Councillor Nathan, you're on mute, sorry. Not yet, sorry. Can Councillor Nathan, there should be a button, your mute button, can you see that? You just need to. Oh.
I'm so sorry, whānau. I'm so sorry about that. OMG. I obviously wanted to tautoko what my fellow councillors have said. The importance of looking after the taonga, the lake is paramount, and obviously any kind of education that is currently being done is really, really pivotal. I think the more education and people are aware that there is a risk here is really important, and for us to support that in any way, shape or form is really, really important. So I also support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nathan. Do other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Rogers, thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to agree with everyone that I think it strikes a good balance between giving some protection to the lake whilst also allowing the community to enjoy that great asset we have. And I agree, NRC should be paying out of all our rate money we give them already.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Jepson.
Yeah, look, I think it's a first step, but I think I have concerns, particularly with the hours of operation, and people will outside monitored hours. I'll be wanting to get into that lake, and I'm still keen to see input from local residents for hot washing and off-site management of the boats before they come on the lake. But I think this is the first step that's necessary to start that process. Gibson. I think everybody's spoken. Just about. Okay, no one else wishes to speak. I just want to say that I think this is a really good balanced approach here. I've had feedback from the community who have probably got two objectives. They want to be able to continue to use boats on the lake. They also support having the gate put in place to give that measure of control. At the moment, obviously there are multiple ways that the lake could be put at threat, and this is one key element we can put in place to help reduce that threat. And as far as the operation of the gate is concerned and maintenance, the Kaipara District Council ratepayers will be paying for that through their NRC rates that they pay that as well. So back to you, Councillor Lambert.
Yes, thank you, Smith. When I spoke initially, I probably only looked at the fiscal responsibilities of it. I haven't mentioned the fact of what a beautiful resource and place the Kauri Lakes is, and we must do everything we can to protect it for our continuing use. To do nothing would be wrong, and like I said, we are taking a risk that we're putting it in or allowing it to be put in. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to put this to the vote. We have the motion there up on the screen. Okay, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Next item is item 4.4, Mangawhai Heads Volunteer Lifeguard Service Storage Sheds Licence to Occupy Variation. Welcome back to Glynis McCarthy. We have an amended recommendation. No, we don't. No, we've got a recommendation there before us that the Kaipara District Council approves a variation to the Mangawhai Heads Volunteer Lifeguard Service Licence to Occupy to include the concrete pad within the licensed area as outlined in attachment A, approves the extension of the licensed area to prevent vehicle obstruction and to allow the installation of low bollards subject to final design approval by council staff, and delegates authority to the Chief Executive to finalise and execute the variation to the Mangawhai Heads Volunteer Lifeguard Service Licence to Occupy. Have a mover for that, please. Councillor Canton, and a seconder. Councillor Williams, thank you. All right, thanks. Glynis, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Through your worship, I take it that the paper has been read. I thought I'd just give you a very quick overview of the main points, particularly if you don't reside here in Mangawhai and aren't familiar with the area. The Mangawhai Heads Volunteer Lifeguards Service, they have an LTO, a licence to occupy, which means that they can put 2 sheds on a designated area, and then the members of the public can still have access to the land that surrounds that. Typically with our licence to occupies, they have a 1 metre curtilage that surrounds their footprint. In 2023, the Mangawhai Heads Volunteer Lifeguard Service applied for resource consent to put a concrete pad at the front of those sheds. They did that because they've got critical rescue equipment inside those sheds and they need to get it out quickly if the need arises. So they put down a concrete pad. And it turned out, however, it was identified that the concrete pad extends beyond the club's existing footprint and it encroaches into the road reserve. And where the location of this is in Olsen Street, just near Alamar. And in Alamar, we have increased and made some improvements to the boat ramp, to the car park there, for people that are taking their boats out. And this is an area that's quite tight. So the fact that the concrete pad is encroached into the road reserve, if in the future they'd like to do some more extensions, perhaps to the car parking in that area, then KDC would obviously like to have that land back again. So what I'm proposing is that we put a variation to their existing LTO to allow that concrete pad to remain. We've spoken with Roading and they agree that this is a fair approach. And what we would do is that we've put in a clause that if we need to take that land back, that we would be able to do so in a very short period of time, if and when it was required for future roading purposes. The club has also raised the concerns about members of public parking in the front of the sheds and obstructing their ability to move their equipment. And staff recommend that we allow the inclusion of additional area within the LTO to prevent those parking blockages while still allowing pedestrian access. So that's all that's a high level overview of that paper, and I can answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Linus, any questions? Okay, no questions on this one. Thank you. You can stand down. Okay, we have a motion before us. If we could have that up on the screen, please. Okay. Mover is Councillor Canton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Having been a lifeguard for about 10 years, I'm very supportive of the work that the Surf Life Saving organisation undertakes. I think approving this, what is actually technically what is a minor technical mistake, while retaining the option to fix it quickly if the council requires in the future, is a good option. And I think allowing to put their bollards in there to prevent anyone blocking it in case they needed to exit quickly for a rescue or similar is a no-brainer as well. So I fully support this.
Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Worship. I concur with Councillor Canton. Whilst the first part is procedural, I think it's imperative that the surf club can access their equipment quickly and without being obstructed. So, yeah, I support the recommendation.
Thank you. Any other elected members wish to speak?
Just
Councillor Lambert.
yes, although we've granted the licence to occupy, it does not set the tone to overreach in the future. It's a very close call, this. Any other organisation who wants to use this as an example to push the boundaries, be warned. But yeah, don't try it too often. Thank you.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Back to you, Councillor Canton.
Nothing further there.
Further, thank you. Okay, I'll put this to the vote. Disappeared off the screen. Can we just have that motion back up on the screen, please? Voting on. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against. Motion carried. Okay, the next item is item 4.5, which is the elected member allowances and recovery of expenses for 2025 to 2028. And there is an amended policy document to be tabled and a suggested alternative recommendation has been provided. So we'll just hand that document out first.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what you will see there is in blue, the suggested changes to the policy from council staff around home security systems. And then we have suggested further amendments to that via underlined addition or struck through deletion in purple. I'll just give you a chance to have a read of what's been proposed there. That's the just keep what the other elected member. Okay, so we've just got an issue here with the document that's been tabled is an earlier version of the edit, and so we're going to need to print the updated version. So what I'm going to do is, if you can hand back in the documents that have been handed to you down the table towards Mr. Maris, please. And we will have a 10-minute morning tea adjournment whilst the correct documents are organised. So what it is. Correct one here.
Right version? Yes, please.
I was printed and given to him this morning.
You just make copies of that?
Yes. What? Okay, thank you. We're adjourned. Okay, thank you. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to reconvene item 4.5, which is the elected member allowances and recovery of expenses 2025 to 2028. And you now have before you the correct policy document, just a couple of points that have been noted that will be changed as minor editorial changes through clause C of the amended recommendation. The changing at clause 5.7b in the last sentence, the last with changed to will, and in 5.7g reinstating the word approved at the beginning of the second sentence. And as an additional change to the amended recommendation, the deletion of clause 5.7i to remove a technical contradiction with clause 5.7g. So that is the document that has been tabled. We now have an amended recommendation up on the screen. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Lambert, and a seconder. Councillor Canton, thank you. Okay, thank you, Gillian. The floor is yours.
In the latest determination, the members' determination, the Remuneration Authority included provision for home security systems for elected members. This needs to be adopted by elected members. It's conditional on having a security risk and a threat assessment. I've updated the policy to include the new allowance and sought feedback on it last week at the briefing. I've had some feedback, but because of the timeframes, wasn't able to include that feedback into the policy that was sent out to you and that was posted online. So you have now had a new copy of the proposed changes distributed to you. Because you haven't had long to look at the updated policy, I'll just mention that the suggested changes give elected members the choice of self-assessment rather than leaving that choice with the CE. And their proposal for council to be able to remove systems or to have the option to remove systems has been deleted. So those are the two major changes. I'm ready to take questions if anybody has any.
Okay, thank you, Gillian. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Councillor Lambert, thank you. Stand down, thanks, Gillian.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. This is a policy which has been adopted throughout the country and other elected members throughout the country. There have been a number of claims made for these security systems. We're in a changing world, and one of the big criticisms is that sometimes people who put their name up for public office aren't protected, and so it's important that we do reinforce that one way or another. Thank you. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Councillor Canton.
No. It's it.
Further, anyone else wish to speak to this item? Councillor Jepson.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that it's available. Most of us don't have an issue, but you know, there's a lot more, especially with social media, there's a lot more people talking about threats even anonymously, and you know, it's not a good thing if we have members that are feeling threatened. So the security system sometimes can be a little bit more reassuring for their personal well-being. Thank you.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Lambert.
No, nothing further to add. I think everything's been said that needs to be said, and it's pretty outlined in that policy.
Thank you. Can I have the motion up on the screen, please? Okay, that's what we're voting on. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. The next item is item 4.6, urgent decision making over the Christmas New Year recess period 2025-26. And we have a staff recommendation.
I'll move that.
Councillor Jepson, and a seconder, please. Councillor Szymanski, thank you. And speaking to this report is Alana Thurston, Governance Advisor. Thank you, Alana.
Good morning. So this is presenting council the recommendation to ensure that council can respond to any urgent decision-making matters that arise over the recess period. The last scheduled council meeting for 2025 is today. The next one not until late Feb. And during the recess period, it's important to have a process in place for urgent decision-making in case anything arises. So the recommendation is to delegate authority to make urgent decisions to any two of either the mayor or deputy mayor and one other councillor. Both the mayor and deputy mayor are unavailable in two councillors in Act. And this arrangement has been consistent with what we've done in previous years in the last cranium. If there are any major matters that need urgent decision making, then an emergency meeting will be called, or extraordinary meeting will be called. And any decisions, urgent decisions made under this delegation will be reported back to the first council meeting, or committee meeting, depending on what the matter is. Oh, and the final thing is that for there's a proposal for the deputy mayor to be delegated authority to declare a state of emergency if the mayor is unavailable.
Okay, any questions? Okay, no questions. Thank you, Alana. And we have a mover here, which was Councillor Jepson.
Yeah, this is just a procedural matter, but hopefully it won't need to be used, but you never know when you're going to have something that pops up, like we've had the Gabriels, the tornado in Mangawhai, for example, weather events, so you just don't know, so you need to have that eventuality covered by this necessary resolution. Thank you.
Councillor Szymanski.
Agree with Craig. Someone needs to be available to make decisions if needed through the solidarity period. Basically, it's just a backup system and agree with it.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Jepson.
Nothing further to add. Thank you, Your Worship.
Have the item up on the screen, please. Okay, I'll put this to the vote. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Next item is item 4.7, 2026 governance meeting calendar. And We have a staff recommendation there. Can I have a mover, please? Move it. Gibson, and a seconder, please. Councillor Canton. Speaking to this item is Kelly Ockwell, Governance Advisor. Welcome, Kelly.
Good morning. So I'm here for your approval for the 2026 meetings calendar. You'll remember this from the briefing the other week. All of the chairs were contacted for their feedback on the meeting dates, and you all were consulted at the briefing also. So no changes have been made to the meetings calendar from what you saw at the briefing. Assuming that you approve the calendar, the next steps will be to send out all the meeting invitations via the Outlook, hopefully before the end of the year. Are there any questions?
Any questions, selected members? Oh, there are. Thank you. Kelly, you may stand down. Okay, we have our motion on the table, which is about to go up onto the screen.
Thank you, Your Worship. Look, I'd like to thank Kelly for the work that goes into it. It's never easy to coordinate a year ahead, and obviously things will change as well, but good to have that guidance through to on our calendars so we can plan ahead. So thank you very much for that.
Councillor Canton.
Bishop, again, just want to reiterate our thanks. It must have been quite a job putting it together, and appreciate having the certainty around when our meetings were full. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Canton. Any other elected members wish to speak? I'd just like to also reiterate and thank you very much to Kelly for pulling off what is effectively a combination of Connect 4 and Tetris and chess all in one go, working with multiple councils and committees across Northland and abroad to pull all of that together in one fell swoop for a whole 12 months so that every elected member and every staff member largely has certainty about where we're heading with all of our important meetings and briefings. So thank you very much, Kelly, much appreciated. Back to you, Councillor Jepson.
I've nothing further to add, other than I'm surprised we haven't got the Warriors games in. Thank you.
Voted for next year. Okay, thank you. I'm going to put this to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, motion carried. Now we are going to move to our information items, and the first item is 5.1, Port Northland Kauri Coast Community Pool Annual Report at 2024-25, and we have a staff recommendation to note the report. I'm happy to move that. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Lambeth, thank you. Reporting on this is Hayley Worthington, GM Strategic Improvement, and Stu Middleton, Sport Northland, who is joining us online.
Thank you very much. I'll take the report as read. So this item is for information, part of the grant or subsidy that KDC provides Sport Northland to operate the pool, requires them to submit their annual report to council for noting. So we're happy to take any questions.
Okay, are there any questions from elected members for Hayley or Stu? No? Yeah. Yes, Councillor Lambeth, saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell. Yes. True worship. There was some report going around that there was a delay in the opening of tomorrow. Have you heard anything? Something got to do with water supply? Can we just clarify that, or is it rumour, or?
Would you like me to answer that, Hayley?
Yes, please.
Yes, there has been a delay. So we started filling last Tuesday. There was I can't remember the term, a break in the line, and their reserves were down to 50%, supplying Silver Fern Farm since then. We've been in communication with Brian and his team, and also Michael from Downers from last Tuesday until today. We're currently trucking, getting a couple of tanker loads in from Ruawai. So the pool will be full. They should arrive at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If we can get that balanced and up to spec this afternoon, by tomorrow, if we can get our biology tests away to the labs, we should still be able to open on Saturday. If we can't get the biology tests there, there might be a slight delay in that opening, but we're hoping that with the tankers there this afternoon, we'll have the 50-metre pool up and ready to go. But it has been a bit of a challenge. I understand they're still at about 50% of what they're pulling into the town at the moment.
Thank you, Stu. We just can't get a break, can we?
No, no.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that for KDC ops? It's covered? Okay.
Just a quick question. I'm just looking at the profit and loss for the 24-25 year. And it's got there that there was 106,212 of repairs and maintenance undertaken, which doesn't feature anywhere in the expense thing. There is a secondary note to that, that CLM's the 9643, which is in there. And I'm just curious as to why the repairs don't show. And I'm just wondering if it's also because the council's contribution towards repairs, which I think some 180 grand or something, also doesn't reflect it as income in there.
Okay, so a couple of things there. The report you're looking at is for the last season. So we regularly get 45,000 of KDC for maintenance. This season, which we're about to embark on, we have 150,000 for maintenance. The way that the contract we have with CLM works is we actually contract them to operate the facility, but Sport Northland still looks after. So we cover the water and we cover maintenance, and we coordinate that work. So there was a separate piece in there, separate to CLM's financials, which is Sport Northland's financials, and that's where the 105 shows.
Okay.
That was replacement of the chlorine tanks and dosing system. We, as the main element of those that maintenance work, Sport Northland sourced the remainder 55 to 60,000 from other sources and utilised council funding. So it was sort of almost a 50-50 share in that piece of work. And this year, again, we had a surplus of about 18,000, which we've rolled over, and I'm aligning that to this year's current maintenance. We've just completed retiling of the entry to the Learn to Swim or hydrotherapy pool. We have stripped back the filtration system. There's 5 big filters for the 2 pool elements. We've replaced the media, we've replaced the laterals, valves, and they're all up and running, ready to go for this season. Hopefully that answers your question.
It does, thank you.
Thank you, Stu. Yes, Stu, we were almost not going to have questions, and now we're starting to have some, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
There's a lot of misunderstanding in general about the ownership of the pool and the operation of the pool. Could you just clarify how that all works?
Okay, so
the viewing public as well.
Yes, so Sport Northland currently owns the pool. We contract CLM to manage it, so they operate it on day-to-day basis, and Sport Northland receives an operating subsidy and a maintenance subsidy from KDC, which we in turn use to contract CLM and to cover the other costs, which predominantly are water, insurance, and maintenance.
And do you do anything in your comms in terms of front-footing the ownership and operations, or does that just sort of happen behind the scenes? There seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about that in general.
Yes, we don't particularly promote it. Probably could be something we could do better. I think on our websites it is outlined there, but it's probably not front and centre. We get the same sort of questions around the Whangarei Aquatic Centre and the Bay of Islands Rec Centre, which we also own and contract subcontractors to operate.
Is it something that you would consider using, even social media, like in the community groups around that area, posting to those community groups and letting people know what's going on in terms of the opening period, why it's been restricted, and that Northland is the owner and CLM is the operator, or it could also be shared through KDC's social media channels? Is that something you would consider?
Definitely, yep. We've been working with, so we put an advisory committee in place a number of years ago, which has been very effective. So that's a great group of local people, local users of the facility that try to communicate information out via their channels. I understand most of the communication seems to happen via the Dargaville or Kaipara grapevine, which I'm not actually on. I've tried to join a couple of times and haven't been accepted. That would be quite a good one, and I often get our advisory committee members to try and put information out. But yes, it would be something we'd be more than happy to work with KDC on to get the information out to the right people.
Okay, thank you, Stu. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, thank you. You can stand down.
Okay,
thank you very much.
So this poll is really critically important for Dargaville, and we've got the reporting here, and we've got a lot of grumbles about delayed opening seasons and what have you, and we need to, as a council, really get our heads around this and make sure it's functioning well for the community as best as we can. So let's just look forward to landing that when further information comes to us next year. Good to hear. Its opening is imminent as this hot weather comes, that's for sure. Councillor Lambert.
No, I think we've probably covered enough today. Clear up a few things as far as ownership and who is a running model, which is a brilliant idea, and hopefully the community will have a reference point to come back to hear Mr. Middleton and how he explained that, just to clear up any untruths or wrongful assumptions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Councillor Nathan.
Kia ora, kia ora, Stu. I just wanted to also support what Councillor Lambert has said. There is obviously a lot of social media happening where a lot of our community have a misconception that it's actually owned by council. So I think having that cleared up, not only in this meeting today, because we do have a lot of whānau that do follow these meetings, it's extremely important that, that messaging is confirmed that actually it's not council owned, that it's actually owned by Sport Northland, and you obviously issue that out to CLM, I think, to deliver that service for our community. So kia ora, if that could be followed up on social media platforms so that it is aware to all of our whānau in the community that actually it's something that Sport Northland are looking after. Kia ora, thank you.
Thank you. Any other elected members wish to speak? So on the matter of that comms, I have asked for some clear comms to get out from council, just so that everyone's on the same page about the facts of the matter, and we'll ask for that to be extended beyond the paper into our social media and Antino platforms, and hopefully everyone can be clear on how that's working now. Okay, I will put this one to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, a motion carried. We now move to item 5.2, which is the Mangawhai Sailing Club trial. And we have a recommendation to note the Mangawhai Sailing Club trial report. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move that.
Councillor Jepson and a seconder. Councillor Williams, thank you. Reporting on this item is Glynis McCarthy, Manager Community Services. Welcome back, Glynis.
Thank you. Through your worship, I take it that this paper has been read. Again, I thought I'd just highlight some of the high-level aspects of this, particularly for anybody who's not from here in Mangawhai. Council staff met with the Mangawhai Sailing Club in August of this year to discuss a potential trial period for the Mangawhai Sailing Club to operate for 6 months from Sellers Reserve at the Mangawhai Estuary. The Sailing Club will be delivering a number of free youth sailing and water safety programs over the summer period. And prior to having an area where that they could park their custom-built trailer, they were bringing it in from a range of different locations so that they could operate down at the estuary. Staff have confirmed that there are no resource consents issues associated with this trial period, and staff will prepare a memorandum of understanding for an initial 6 months with an option to extend for another 6 months if the trial is successful, pending the outcome of a review that's currently underway of the whole Alamar coastal area. Staff will prepare a report to council evaluating the success of the program prior to the Sailing Club requesting formal approval from council for a more permanent site. So if anyone has any questions.
Are there any questions? Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Worship. Thanks, Glynis. I just wondered, looking at this picture, it's quite hard to explain. Is that to the, if you're looking at the toilets on the left, is this to the left of that?
Yes, it is.
Along on the grass? Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I thought.
And look, it is a really congested area, so we've really been mindful about the temporary placement of anything that could potentially get in the way of other users. But this does allow those boats to get really quick access into the estuary without blocking up the boat ramp that's quite close to there. So this was by far the best compromise in terms of space.
Mr. Panton.
They talk about temporary storage. What did they have in mind? Do you have any idea?
So at the moment, what they've got is a customised trailer that brings all of the little Optimus boats. In an ideal world, they would like to have a permanent structure, so they'd like to have a shed. This location probably isn't going to be their permanent location, but until that coastal review is done at the Alamar area, actually that's looking at that much wider piece of land and how it can be used and better and fit the needs of future generations. So until that outcome is done, actually that's why we've got a memorandum of understanding for this summer period.
So there'll be no temporary storage of the trailer?
That's right, something that is movable, that's right.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Glynis. You can stand down.
Thank you.
Councillor Jepson.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to see this happening. I've been fortunate enough to be the patron of the same club and been to the prize giving, and I've seen how advantageous it's been to some of our younger people. It gives them something that they can do that gets them out of the social media scene, and they work together with adults down there. I think it's been really, really good for some of the kids locally, and it's good that this will make the operation a little easier to undertake, because otherwise they're dragging gear from all over the place down there every time they have an evening or an afternoon when they do, when they teach the young people. So I'm very pleased to see that they're getting an opportunity to show what they can do. Thank you.
Councillor Williams.
Your Worship. Yeah, I actually have a friend whose daughter has been involved in the Mangawhai Sailing Club, and it's really brilliant to see all the young children out there and the volunteers all working together, and it's a great initiative, and I think this will be great for the volunteers because, like Councillor Jepson said, there is a lot of gear that comes from a lot of different areas, and I think this will cut down on their time and allow them to have more time on the office. I fully support it. Thank you.
Any other elected members wish to speak? Councillor Jepson.
Nothing further to add. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, we will put the motion to the vote that we note the report. All those in favour say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you. Before we break, Mr. Maris, is there anything you would like to add?
To this one?
No, this one's completed in general. Okay. Okay, so we will now have a lunch break until 12:38. And see you back here then. we have a recommendation to move into public excluded session. I'll move that. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councillor Canton. Any discussion? All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carried.